Hello my friends, my name is Drew and I am the Nostalgia Maniac. In today's video we're going to be analyzing and dissecting the beginning hours of my all-time favorite Zelda game, The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask. A direct sequel to the N64 classic Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask is easily Nintendo's most experimental title in the whole series, in which you have 3 days to save the world from the scary moon apocalypse, but with a Groundhog Day gimmick of repeating those 3 days over and over and over again. The traditional world exploration and dungeon crawling gameplay is still there like Ocarina, but that only accounts for about 2/3 of the game's main experience. The other chunk is filled by what we usually consider to be side quests, where you help a big variety of NPCs tackle problems from the simple to the really complicated. Don't be fooled though, these side quests give Majora's Mask a distinctly personal flair, and I think they give you a sense of fulfillment better than any actual items or masks that you earn. Majora's Mask is well known for its darker tones, but the theme of bringing people happiness regardless of what's going on really makes it something special in my book. So, without further ado, let's begin our deep dive from the very beginning. The tone is immediately set when you see Majora's Mask slowly coming at you from the background, with that creepy motion blur and chilling sound effect. And then you pair that with the masked salesman's laugh, and you know alrighty this is not your typical Zelda experience. I've always really liked this tour around Clocktown because, as you can see here, Link is just casually sitting around and observing people, which is what the game is all about. The game requires you to actually get to know what these people are doing on a day-to-day basis, so you can actually know how to help them. Now this image coming up here was what really set my hype initially through the roof with this game. I remember reading Nintendo Power back in the day and just seeing this. And like I just knew I had to have it. I had to get the game where you save the world from the big scary moon, and it made me so excited and pumped to see what this game could bring. Now, Majora's Mask was one of the few games to actually require the expansion pack, the little red thing you stuck in the N64 to expand the memory. It was required for games like Donkey Kong 64 and provided enhancements for other games. But what this did for Majora's Mask was allowed advanced effects like motion blurring and actually to be able to program all the NPCs scheduled running around at the same time. But even with that extra memory, Majora's Mask had to reduce the number of save files to only 2, which I think only shows just how much they wanted to cram into this game, where it's just like, oh, we want to put so much in here, but we can only fit in 2, and they're like, it's worth it. Like I said, Majora's Mask is a direct sequel to the story of Ocarina of Time, taking place after Link returns to his original timeline. Once he gets back there, he warns Zelda about Ganondorf's plot to take the Triforce, and then it's happily ever after, right? Wrong-o! Remember, Link was raised as a Kokiri and spent his life in a magical forest, only to be told later that he was never Kokiri, but a Hylian, and both of his parents are gone. After everything he went through, Link really didn't have any place he could call home, and his fairy companion Navi, the only one who experienced the entire journey with him, left at the end without any explanation. It's with all this background in mind that we kind of better understand why Majora's Mask opens with such a sad feel to it. Everything from the fog, the music, Epona's slow walk, Link's entire body language just says it all. Link is still trying to process the grief of everything he went through, and desperate to find the only one who could empathize with him. He does end up finding a fairy, just not the ones he was hoping for.
You two fairies did great. I wonder if he has anything good on him.
Now, the Skull Kid actually knew Link from the events of Ocarina of Time. You play Soraya's song for him to get a heart container, and you sell him the Skull Mask as part of the Happy Mask side quest. Skull Kid plays a much bigger role in this game as the main antagonist, although he's not quite the true villain, like we'll discuss more in a bit here. I just want to say I like Link's reaction, like, you, really? Link also recognizes the Skull Kid under the mask, but he doesn't realize the full extent of what he's dealing with. Like, he's just a minor annoyance. Now, as you start chasing after the Skull Kid, you'll immediately notice that this game controls exactly like Ocarina of Time. It's like riding a bicycle. But you notice the movement feels a bit less stiff and a lot more refined, actually. And there are some really neat little acrobatics. Hold on to your seats though, folks, because things only get stranger from here. There's an obvious parallel to Alice in Wonderland as Link falls down the hole to the land of Termina, where he's greeted once again by the Skull Kid, who has suddenly turned a lot more sinister than before.
What's with that stupid horse of yours? It doesn't listen to a word that's said to it. There's no point in riding a thing like that, so I did you a favor and got rid of it.
Now, when I first saw this as a kid, I kind of thought to myself, well, maybe he just dropped Epona off somewhere. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that no, Epona's dead. At the very beginning of the game, the Skull Kid has set himself up as a true threat, and adds insult to injury by turning you into a Deku scrub. Now in this game, you have a new fairy companion named Tattle. She has a brother named Tail, and they've been friends with the Skull Kid for a while, as we'll learn more later in the game. I really think what's kind of cool in this game is that Link's looking for a fairy, but he ends up getting this new fairy companion, and to the game's credit, it does try to bring Tattle a lot more personality than Navi had. Navi was there mostly just to be persistent in reminding you of things. So I do enjoy this companion a lot. She has a lot of sass, and that brings a lot of fun little dialogue to the game. Now, something I've always really liked about this game is that it has different forms with different abilities with those forms. So here, Link just is turning to a Deku Scrub, but he has these new abilities that come with that. He can burrow into these flowers, he can fly around, and there's like range to how far you can fly. He can drop Deku Nuts as bombs. It's neat, and it starts out basically, but as you get further and further in the game, like some of these transformations do some really, really cool, fun things. What was that?
You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you? Now don't think me rude, but I have been following you.
This strange person tells you that if you can find both the mask and the ocarina, he has a way that he can return you to normal. So, you head on out and venture into Clocktown. Oh, hi there, doggy. Who's a good boy? Who's a... Ah! You're told that the Great Fairy can help you beat the Skull Kid and that she's located in North Clocktown. When you get there, you find a strange fellow in green tights.
What's this? Green clothes? White fairy? Sir, could you by chance be a forest fairy? Oh my! My name is Tingle. I think I'm the same as you, sir. A forest fairy.
One weird thing in the world of Termina is that the grass itself grows. Again, just adding to that very odd vibe.
What do you want, Shrimp? I'm busy practicing with my blowgun. If you can't pop that balloon, then don't mess with Jim.
Youngling, please hear my plea. I've been broken and shattered to pieces by the masked Skull Kid.
We are once again finding out here that the Skull Kid, whatever power he has, is truly a great one if he can actually take down the Great Fairy herself.
Wait a moment, Deku Scrub. Have you some air at the ocean? It is dangerous outside the town walls, so I cannot allow a child like you to go out alone.
With no option to exit the town, you then encounter a really enthusiastic banker. Nowadays, even if people have money, they don't deposit any! Nothing! He helps you open a new account to deposit your rupees, and then stamps your head so he can recognize you later. This is how you're able to continue depositing and growing your bank account even after the 3-day cycle repeats. One thing I've never really understood though is even if he recognizes you as a customer, how does the stamp tell him your current balance? But this is Termina we're talking about. You eventually find the stray fairy in a back alley of town and proceed to return the Great Fairy to normal. She awards you with the new awesome super patented ability to blow bubbles. Yeah, it's not that much, but it is enough to pop the balloon outside. Jim and the Bombers gang then challenge you to find out where all of them are hiding around Clocktown before sunrise. How much caffeine are these kids drinking? How are they allowed outside 24 hours a day? Do their parents wonder what the heck they're doing? After catching all the kids, they give you the secret code to enter the observatory. After going through some secret tunnels, you enter the observatory and you hear this. I haven't yet mentioned the game's composer, Nintendo legend Koji Kondo, and I have to say this game is easily among his best work. The planetarium theme alone here is absolute magic.
Your manners seem much better than those of your mischievous friend from the other day.
After finding the Skull Kid with the telescope on the clock tower, a moon sphere falls down from the sky. One thing I've always wondered a bit here is, why is the moon crying? In spite of its scary appearance, I think the moon doesn't actually want to destroy the world. Simple, but I think that actually explains it. With the moon's tear in hand, you're able to trade it for a Deku Flower that allows you to reach the clock tower when it opens at the stroke of midnight of the third day. If you've been looking up at the sky over the last 3 days, you notice the moon is getting closer and getting larger and larger in size. By the third day, it's gradually happening in real time. When midnight hits, you hear the chilling track of Final Hours. When I listen to this, I can't help but feel a little bit, introspective. If our world was literally going to end, what would I do? Who would I want to be with? Is there anything left unsaid that needs to be? Any wrongs left to right? Just another phenomenal track right here. You again meet the Skull Kid, who's become well more than just a simple imp in the woods. The mask is calling all the shots, including the destruction of the world. After a trusty shot from your bubble attack, he drops the Ocarina of Time and a flashback happens with Link and Zelda. Now, what I've heard theorized about this scene is that the reason Zelda gives Link the Ocarina is so that Ganondorf can't get a hold of it himself, because without the Ocarina, it is impossible for Ganondorf to enter the Door of Time. And I think at the same time, Link was wanting to go on his personal journey to find Navi, so they're kind of taking care of two birds with one stone there. After playing the Song of Time on your new Deku Scrub horns, you find yourself exactly where you started in Clocktown at the beginning of the first day. So that's all I wanted to cover in this part. I wanted to go ahead and continue playing through Majora's Mask. It's going to be maybe formatted slightly differently than this one, kind of a mix of both live commentary and also discussion afterwards and things of that, mix and match in between. But let me know what you think. I'm really trying to up my game as far as YouTube and content creation, so if you enjoyed this video, be sure to go ahead, drop a like, subscribe to this channel, and we will see you next time. Bye everyone!